What do you do after you accidentally write one of the most iconic songs in rock history? If you're a Blue Öyster Cult, you don't slow down, you double down. You step back into the studio, chase the lightning one more time, and try to prove that success wasn't a fluke. Today we're diving into Spectres, the album that followed the massive breakout of Don't Fear the Reaper. Was it a worthy successor, or did it struggle under the weight of its own expectations? Let's get into it. In the annals of 1970s arena rock, few albums carry the unique burden of expectations that greeted Blue Öyster Cult's Spectres in November 1977. The band was at a turning point, having finally shattered their underground status with the platinum success of 1976's Agents of Fortune and its haunting smash, Don't Fear the Reaper. For years, Blue Öyster Cult had been a critics band, a group of engineering students and fantasy novel readers from upstate New York who hid their faces behind mirrors and motorcycles while crafting some of the most intellectual and sinister heavy metal in America. But by 1977, they were no longer just a cult concern. They were a cultural phenomenon ready to headline coliseums. Spectres was designed to be the record that solidified this new reality, an amazing piece of genre-defying, high-concept pop metal that attempted to satisfy everyone from the die-hard leather-clad bikers to the casual radio listeners. The story of the album begins with a radical shift in how the band operated internally. During their formative black and white period, the era of the first three starkly designed albums, the group's direction was largely dictated by their manager and theoretician, Sandy Pearlman. Pearlman had been the primary architect of their image as the American Black Sabbath and had proved the bulk of their gothic crypto-occultic lyrics. However, by the time the Spectres sessions rolled around, band members had tired of the neo-Wagnerian aesthetic Pearlman imposed and wanted to make their music more personal and democratic. This evolution was made possible by a revolution in home recording technology. Each member had acquired a teak 4-track tape recorder, allowing them to bring in fully realized arrangements instead of just simple riffs. As a result, Spectres became an album of isolated vignettes, with 4 of the 5 members handling lead vocals, giving the band a Hydra-like image of 5 individual artists working as a unified unit. Flush with Reaper royalties and backed by a confident Columbia Records, the band entered the record plant in New York City to record their most expensive production to date. At one point, Blue Öyster Cult commanded all 4 main rooms of the prestigious studio simultaneously, reflecting the flush feeling of young guys trying to take the world by the ass. The production team was a formidable tag team consisting of Pearlman, Murray, Krugman, and David Lucas. Lucas, a successful jingle producer who had conducted the Reaper sessions with a conductor's baton and kept the rhythm, focused on melodies and harmonies, while Pearlman remained the master of the final mix. The result was a polished, classy sound that some critics felt was a bit thin compared to their early work, though many fans argued it was perhaps even better than the previous album, Agents of Fortune. The album kicks off with what would become the band's second most famous track, Godzilla, written by lead guitarist Donald Buck Dharma Rosser. The song was born in a hotel room in Dallas when Rosser came up with a plodding guitar riff that immediately made him think of the iconic Japanese movie monster. Though it was a massive hit on the singles charts, it became a permanent concert staple, famously accompanied on stage by a smoke-spewing animatronic Godzilla with flashing eyes. The track is pure B-movie fun, featuring a middle section with a stereo pan Japanese emergency broadcast warning citizens of the monster's approach, who was the center of Tokyo. Interestingly, while touring together, the band Rush often played pranks on Blue Öyster Cult during the song, once replacing the Godzilla video sound with a recording of Mr. Ed. Following the Monster Mayhem is Golden Age of Leather, a multi-sectional track that stands out as one of the most cinematic tunes in the band's catalog. This biker rock anthem, co-written by Rosser and Bruce Abbott, tells a futuristic tale of the world's last outlaw bikers performing a final, possibly suicidal ritual after being driven to the edges of society. To enhance the song's mini-opera feel, co-producer Murray Krugman suggested the inclusion of the Newark Boys chorus. Their vocals frame the song, starting with a sense of camaraderie and confidence and ending with a forlorn tone that captures the dying embers of the Viking era. Drummer Albert Bouchard later remarked that the heavy use of vocal harmonies on the track reminded him of the band Queen. I like the song because it starts with this classic Blue Öyster Cult sound, but then it starts to sound like the Beach Boys, but then they go back to their classic sound. So that's pretty cool. The album then moves into the catchy mid-paced rocker Death Valley Nights, a collaboration between Albert Bouchard and veteran lyricist Richard Meltzer. The track is defined by Alan Lanier's ethereal piano and dreamy vocal performance, and it focuses on a love that has gone cold. This is followed by Lanier's sole contribution to the album Searching for Celine, which flirts with a quirky, morose funk, even a slightly disco flair, reflecting the musical trends of the late 70s. Originally titled All the Hipsters Come from Puerto Rico, Lanier resubmitted the song with more Oyster-like lyrics that were suitably shadowy and mysterious. Closing out side one is Fireworks, the only song in the entire band's history solely penned by Albert Bouchard. Side two begins with the boogie anthem, Are You Ready to Rock? A song that famously didn't truly come to life until it was performed in front of a live audience. While it sounds like a simple performer-audience dialogue, the lyrics actually contain a nod to Karel Čapek's 1920s science fiction play, R.U.R. Rossum's Universal Robots. Perlman's lyrics explore the disappearance of humanity and the dawning of a new era where biological robots now rule, blending religious connotations with technological dread. It's followed by Joe Bouchard's pop-oriented Celestial, The Queen, which features prominent piano work and synthesizer swoops, creating a stark poppy contrast to his usually heavy composition. Perhaps the most unique collaboration on the album is Going Through the Motions, co-written by Eric Bloom and Ian Hunter of Mott the Hoople. Bloom had been struggling to come up with new material and decided to work with Hunter after the British rocker moved to Connecticut near Bloom's home. The two knocked the song out in a single afternoon in Bloom's basement studio. Lyrically, the song explores the typical backstage romance between a rock star and a groupie, resulting in a thumping pop rocker that featured hand claps and a Brit pop bridge. While it was released as a single, some band members later felt the final version was too polished and lacked the kick they originally envisioned. The dark heart of the album, however, is found in its closing tracks, which return to the band's fascination with literary and cinematic horror. I Love the Night is widely considered one of Buck Dharma's greatest songs, a gothic ballad of vampire seduction, characterized by smooth vocals and a misty gloom atmosphere. It serves as a spiritual successor to Then Came the Last Days of May, emphasizing the occult as a secondary element to a universal story of love and longing. The album concludes with Joe Bouchard's Nosferatu. A haunting homage to F.W. Murnau's 1922 silent film. The lyrics were actually drawn from the title cards used in the film's reissue, and the arrangement used in a claustrophobic symphonic sound to evoke the feeling of a cold, dark night in Transylvania. Together, these two tracks established Blue Öyster Cult as the Stephen King of heavy metal. Visually, the album was just as ambitious as its music. The cover art features the laser system that had become a trademark of their $100,000 to $300,000 live show. In an era before federal regulations, Blue Öyster Cult was using $1 million industrial-strength lasers that shot from Eric Bloom's fingers and reflected off a giant mirror ball, creating what Bloom called a nuclear bomb of light for the audience. This technological arms race eventually caught the attention of the FDA, who sent scientists to their shows to study the potential eye damage, ultimately leading to a 3-inch thick report that helped end the laser era for the band. When Spectres was finally released, it achieved gold certification within 2 months, peaking at number 43 on the Billboard charts. While it didn't produce a chart-topping hit like The Reaper, it was a modest success, kept the band in the arena rock spotlight. Decades later, the 2007 remastered reissue added 4 unreleased bonus tracks that provided a glimpse into the wayside songs of the 1977 sessions. These included the new wavy Night Flyer, the quirky Dial In for Murder, featuring Alan Lanier on the Hammond organ, and a rough demo by Lanier titled Please Hold. The most surprising addition was a cover of The Ronettes Be My Baby, a relic from their bar band days that the band recorded quickly during a lunch break. Ultimately, Spectres remains a pivotal document of Blue Öyster Cult at their creative and commercial peak. It represents the moment they successfully balanced their sinister thinking man reputation with mainstream accessibility, proving they could thrive without the total control of their management. It's an album defined by its variety, its cinematic ambition, and its refusal to stay within the lines of traditional heavy metal as the band moved forward into the more polished pop of 1979's Mirrors. Spectres would stand as the final grand statement of their 1970s glory days, a collection of ghosts that continues to haunt the airwaves of classic rock to this day. So now I want to hear from you. What do you think of this album? Is it a hidden gem, or was it just overhyped due to the success of Don't Fear the Reaper? Check out this playlist with more reviews from Blue Öyster Cult albums. Thanks for watching. Please like this video. Helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Please subscribe if you're not already. I do rock and metal reviews, rankings, and more. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one.